Bonjour, fellow collectors. Today we have a Peugeot 505 sedan by Shadow. Shadow here says 192, so this brand's cranking out some stuff. They're also known as DCT, diecast team, although I don't know if this number relates only to Shadow. One would assume it does, but it might include the actual colors, right? I think this 505 came in at least 5 different colors. I was hoping it came out in a brown, but it's going to have to do with a burgundy today. I don't think this is licensed. I don't see anything about Peugeot there. It's not a standard size display box, but it's almost like a better display box because it's small. In the fact that you could, if you wanted to collect this box, it wouldn't take up as much space. But what the? Oh, tape dots. No, those tape dots have nothing to do with. Let me come back. Yeah, it's just always hard to push those out of those sleeves. But these are smart. These tape things. They're nice and long, and they don't leave residue so much. So just put that back down there. The only thing I don't like about this silly case is this inside of it. How you just have a car floating inside of there. Most cars aren't jumping. You know, rally cars maybe, but it's just weird. I just feel like it would have been, if you're going to invest the money in a plastic base, why not just also invest the money in the screw and do like everyone else, right? Literally have it screwed to the base so then you could just look at it, right? But this is weird. This is very strange to me. If you're going to do this, just put it in a cardboard box and save money. Don't make people buy this at all. A display box that doesn't display the model safely, it seems like a waste of money. It does say the brand, it does say what the car is, but it doesn't say Peugeot. It does say what scale it is. Yeah, so this is, well, whatever. Burgundy color here, matching up with this photo here, including the wheels, I think. So you got the lights in there. Now, the grille you notice here is silver. I wasn't able to find any color matched grills like this Shadow has. But it has black mirrors like the photograph. Here's a better look at the wheels from the side. You'll notice the car itself, it has pull forward door handles, not pull up door handles. And then you got the ugly black bumpers, as was the time frame of this era of vehicle. In fact, I'll read a little Wikipedia here. So this car was manufactured between 1979 to 92, quite a big span. 1.3 million of them or so were made. It could have been powered by something as small as a 1.8 liter inline 4 up to a 2.9 liter V6, and it was rear wheel drive only. Alright. Focus, there we go. So you can see the metallic burgundy color is very nice. Pretty good. I mean, these models are not expensive in the realm of diecast. There's a little extra tire flash, it seems, but I think this is a logical way they construct, maybe. Let's see if I can flip this tire around or get rid of that rubber flash. Well, this tire is very, very hard. I don't know if this... Oh, is that literally part of the wheel? I thought that was rubber flash. I think that literally the wheel itself is missing chunks out of it. Alright, so that's not good. Alright, well that's unfortunate. Or maybe it's just missing silver paint. Hold on, I have a little silver Sharpie. I'll be back. Got a little silver paint marker here. Is it missing plastic or just missing paint? That's the question. I don't know if that helped at all. Like, yeah, I think it did. So I think it was just missing paint, maybe. I think I should actually just use real silver paint instead of a paint marker, but it's better than it was. I'll have to get a Q-tip to wipe the rest off. Before I forget. I don't think DCTs are designed to roll. There's something clearly going wrong in this one. Alright, what is possibly going to be a problem? The bottom is plastic. There's no branding on it that doesn't tell you what the car is, which is weird to me because it wouldn't cost any different to have the text molded in like that. It is a separate silver painted exhaust system, and there's 2 screws holding it together. There's some treads, and also the treads don't look like truck tires from the side. So a brand this inexpensive, can make realistic looking road tires, whereas far more expensive brands have a bunch of truck knobby tires showing on the side. So that's a plus for these guys. Going at the wheel here, yeah, it's kind of a old school looking wheel. Four lug nuts, a center hole. I don't think there's a brake system on a DCT, and you wouldn't see it anyways through such small openings. Alright, so we have the orange marker on the side here. There's also a silver strip, chrome strip going down the side of this black molding. Panel gaps are okay. Those pull forward door handles. There's no extra silver, it's just all black, right? But they molded in a difference here. This is one recess, that's the other. This is the one that should be silver. And then we do have printing here for the door lock. So it's kind of weird. If they were smart, they would have printed, they clearly printed black here and then silver. The silver here, why wouldn't they just add the silver printing right here? Strange that they wouldn't do that. It could have been maybe done the same process. The windows are molded plastic, and then you got the raised frames here like that, painted black. And I mentioned the black mirrors are just raw plastic, but there's silver paint in them, so that's a nice touch for the price. Fuel filler door looks okay. A reflector back here looks good as well. The side of the wing, well, I guess you could glue it down further. You could also take it apart since it's screwed together and fix any problems. There's also silver trim going around here as well. Going to the front, we do have the plastic headlights, and they have a molded light bulb back there, painted silver with the rest of the bucket. Granted, that bucket isn't painted very well, right? It's just not enough silver. Too much of the burgundy is still showing through. Alright. But see, now these are nicely done. I'm not sure why they couldn't have done that with the door handles. Anyway, silver orange, and it's great that they printed something in the license plate. It's actually quite risky that they would print this white box, because it could have easily been off to the side or crooked. But they did it, and they did it well. The Peugeot logo looks alright, although it's not centered with the 0, right? It's off to that side. The grille strakes are printed on, but yeah, ideally this would have all been painted silver first, and then they painted the black on after to show the grille lines, right? Because they have silver here again. So some of the way they did the printing could have been different to make the thing look more realistic. Anyhow, we do have some printing down here for some more vent details. This side, I don't see any major problems. I guess it's okay. Going to the rear, we do have nice clear lenses here. And the orange, silver, red, they're separated well enough for me. Yeah, and then great to see a license plate again. And then the silver for the lock. And the muffler here, yeah, it's got a tiny dimple. A little extra plastic from, I guess, the molding runner. Look at the text printed back here. It's very fine. Let's see if we can read it. So we have a Peugeot. I don't know what the text next to that is, though. Leave a comment if you know what that is. 505 SRI. That's why I couldn't find images of this. Alright, well, the combination of images I showed did show this vehicle pretty much. Sadly, they wasted the paint to do a bunch of defroster lines that you really can't see on a real car. You can't see the rear of the interior because they have a bunch of thick paint lines there. So I wish all brands would just get away from this. Sure, cars have them, but go stand next to a car. Can you see them? It's very difficult to see these lines on a real thing. They do have nice black paint though for the rubber molding, and then silver for the chrome molding there. And then we have a standard black molded detailed interior with a steering column there. The wiper blades are actually here as well. I can't tell if they're painted though. I don't think they are. So that's a little weird. Let me get some flashlights. It's kind of hard to see the black. That's a big stick shift in there. Well, that's not the clearest windows. Quite foggy windows actually. But it looks like the interior is nicely molded. The little vent details, the instrument cluster, the steering wheel also looks like it has a silver Peugeot line on there. So I feel like that line could have maybe been skipped and they maybe painted the wiper blades instead. I feel like the exterior of a car should be more important than the interior. But anyhow, the interior is nicely molded. It's just the windows are all cloudy, more so than other brands. And then I guess that's the rear view mirror. Maybe they should have skipped that because it's just excessively large and it's not painted. Some construction details. It's actually a press fit window. So when we have some molded in strakes in front of the windscreen, and this one has a sunroof. Okay, so yeah. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed over 1,000 realistic 164-ish vehicles, but this is my very first Peugeot. So this car mark is not really recognized by the industry as far as making scale models in 164. That's interesting. So with no other vehicles to compare it to, I just looked up a bunch of boxy vehicles I have in my collection. So the only other French one I could come up with is this wacky Citroen BX4. This is a rally car by CM's, an extinct Japanese brand of diecast. And yeah, it actually looks like an Audi actually, but very boxy. My favorite boxy car is the Fiat 131 Abarth. This thing won some WRC championships back in the day, but Kyosho did a nice version of this. I'll put that on the outside because that's a race car as well. And then we have a TLV of a Mazda Loose Legato, and this is from the 70s to early 80s, and never knew that car existed. And it actually looks kind of similar, right? In its proportions and boxiness. And then the last one will be a Toyota Mark II. This one is by Konami from the mid-80s. I generally don't collect standard family sedans, but I used to actually drive around a Peugeot. I don't remember if it was a 405 or a 505, but I drove that for like 6 months or a year. But then one of the shock towers almost cut my tire, and that could have been a catastrophic accident, so I got rid of the vehicle. But it was cool until that event happened. Alright, well anyhow, you can look up reviews of these other vehicles if you want. They're somewhere in the channel. Shadow, pretty good stuff. I mean, for the cost of a Shadow, I think you're getting a lot. You're getting plastic headlights, taillights. You're getting the option to open it up and modify it or fix problems. You're getting mirrors that are separate pieces. They're not even casted into the same body. And then you get a lot of printed details. You know, the license plates, that's nice. The interior is not the greatest, but I'm never going to look at that interior after this video anyways. Alright, well, thanks for watching today. I like this brand. I just wish they got away from the unnecessary packaging because the box doesn't even work because it's not screwed to the box. I think they could even make a cheaper model. Just put in a cardboard box like Mini GT does, and we'd be golden. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Bye.